All right, let's move to the Big 12. We got Texas up top. We got Baylor up top. We have Kansas a half game out of first place. Iowa State, Kansas State, Oklahoma State are all one game out of first in the loss column. Then you have TCU, who is still a top 15 to 20 team when they are healthy. T.O., I'm going to you first. Out of everybody in this league, who do you think is the best suited to being able to find a way to make a run in the NCAA tournament?
They're 10-1 in their last 11. The Baylor Bears, Scott Drew, the guard play. And if you get matched up against a mid-major that's feeling some kind of way, that's playing really well, they match up with them. And you see what they're doing in conference play. They're 9-4 in the Big 12, toughest conference in college basketball. Like, they can play against bigger teams. Chama Chachua coming back is huge. The fact that he's even playing, Dauster, you alluded to it yet last night. Like, It's amazing, really. But he brings an edge, and they have that elite talent. They really do. Keontae George is that elite talent. Does he get along with everything that Adam Flagler and LJ Cryer are supposed to do? No, he's got a little bit of a I'm the man here kind of air about him, which I'm not mad at. I don't want that to be construed as a bad thing. I want that to be understood that that's a good thing. And you need a guy like that who's got a little bit of an edge to him, that's willing to take it on his shoulders. And I think Keontae George is that. Their forward spot is not as good as what it's been in the past few years. That's the thing that kind of throws me off. Like, there is no Matthew Meyer. You know what I mean? Like, they're not
guarding the same way either. That's my.
But like I said, like I said last night, I think that has a little bit to do with Keontae a little bit.
Yeah, it might.
Because the other guys are rotating. There's been times where he's standing straight up watching and the ball's on the other side and something happens and he's not able to get where he's supposed to be. So a little 1-1-3-2. So that was good.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that team. I think the guard talent there is elite. Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting to see, Fanta, how it kind of develops with Chama Chachua back. Where do you stand? Are you on Baylor too?
For the sake of being contrarian.
Okay, there we go.
I'm still going to go with Kansas State.
Ooh.
Kansas State, to me, is a dangerous team still. I think just because they've lost 3 of 4, we've cooled off a little bit on the Wildcats. But I also think that's part of life in the Big 12, guys. Like, you can't cool off too heavily on a team just because they're, taking lumps in the best conference in college basketball, which is going to send 7-8 teams to the NCAA tournament in a 10-team league. Marquise Noel just does so many things when he's on. He's the type of guy. Noel and Keontae Johnson are the types of dudes that when you say, can they win these games, 3, 4, 5 games in a row, could they get on that type of run? Well, they defend. So you know that you can count on that. And Noel and Johnson are the type of guys that can get hot. And we know in the NCAA tournament, once you get hot, you could stay hot. And I just love the vibe of this team. I think the losses recently are going to help them. I'm still bullish on what they can do from a defensive perspective. I think they're a team. Scoring depth is a bit of an issue. There's no question about that. So when you don't have complementary scoring at a high level, I get a little bit nervous about that. But I'm still in on Naquan Tomlin. I like the role that he plays for this team. He can rebound the basketball well for them, and he does some things defensively that kind of make it difficult to face him.
Make you say, wow. He does some things defensively that make you say, wow.
Yeah, he does. He does. So they're a team that I'm still in on, and I just think in the year that they've had, they might be, and for all intents and purposes, Iowa State could be there again, but they might be the team that going into the NCAA tournament, some people have cooled off on. But you shouldn't forget about what they collectively did throughout December and January, because typically that comes back around the corner once we hit March Madness. And I just think Kansas State's going to be right there in a Sweet 16. And guys, would you want to see Jerome Tang and that group motivated at that juncture of the season? I know I would, and I know that those fans would travel for the tournament. So I'm gonna be bullish here and say that one of those teams that aren't the main brands could end up going on a run. Kansas State is a team that I'm going to take the torch for and lead.
Yeah, so I think I love the Kansas State call. but I'm going to stick with Texas because I think Texas has the best combination of good guards and the ability to get stops. Right? It feels weird not picking Kansas. It's very hard for me to wrap my mind around a team that has basically one guy that can be a go-to guy in terms of Jalen Wilson. So I'll go with Texas. Marcus Carr has proven himself to me. I think that they've been a little bit better defensively in recent weeks. And I'm not worried about losing. What have they lost? 3 of their last 6, 2 of their last 3. I'm not worried about losing at Tennessee. I'm not worried about losing at Kansas. The loss at Texas Tech is a little bit worrying, but like that's also a rivalry game.
Yeah.
Did you see this? The posters they had there, by the way. They had a big head. You know the big heads that students print out. They had a big head of Chris Beard's mugshot behind the basket, which was exactly what you would expect from T.O.'s people, T.O.'s folks down there in Lubbock. So I'll be on Texas here. I can't believe none of us said Kansas. That's pretty wild. It tells you all you need to know about
they just have such a standard. Like it just wouldn't surprise anybody.
Yep.
Like